Hello, everybody, and fuck you, Crash.
What the fuck? I'm looking at the run sheet. And I see this guy just counting up like, ah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Tougies Take Podcast. You already know he's back. Crash Andrews is here once again for our first four-man panel, as we have Endo and Sin in the house here as well. This is what happens when you try to be a good friend and have Crash Andrews on standby, who's also a good friend, and then both of the regulars show up, and it's like, well, now there's four of us. And will this be the regular thing? I don't know. I'd be okay with it, most likely. We'll see how today's show goes. Gentlemen, we're padding for time today. So, Sin, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, a good cast for us today. Interesting series once again, and yeah, other than that, just playing a shit ton of music. Trying to stay sane.
There you go. Yeah, Sin and I, of course, covering games for SportsGamer GG on Twitch. That's sportsgamer.gg for the website covering the Sixes finals for the ECL Elite Division, the premier EA NHL Sixes competition. Yeah, it's a 3-0 lead for one of the teams in the finals, though. So not quite how we thought it would start off, but it's only made worse by the fact that right now Sid and I shouldn't be recording this podcast. We should be in Finland. Damn pandemic, I tell ya. 2 years running. It's been worse for other people, but I still get to give out about the fact that we haven't gotten to go there yet. God damn it. Endo Mills, well, for those of you watching on the video side of things, you'll know he's changed his office for the 17th time in 2 months. Endo, how are you?
So, I want to talk about that real quick. By changing my office, I move it from, one area over here. Because I used to have my desk, on this side over here, but I just moved it over. It also doesn't help that, this desk over here right next to me that slides out, that has one of my monitors, you can just take it apart and put it on the other side. So, I'm infinitely crazy with this setup. I can change it up, literally on the fly. I can do it, mid-podcast. I won't, but I can do it mid-podcast.
No, do it. Do it.
I fucking could.
What if I could?
Don't make me.
I'll fucking do it again.
Crash Andrews.
Yes, sir.
The master of technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah. Well,
How are you?
Speaking of moving offices, I've moved a different computer in here so that we can play virtual reality without punching a wall. So, outside of that, I'm old.
All you have to do is play Home Improvement VR, and then you're killing two birds with one stone. Now, here's the level where you snort cocaine with Tim Allen.
I'm good, Tougie. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, but are you hopped up on cocaine with Tim Allen? Good.
No, I don't have a Buzz Lightyear, okay? Jeez, get off my back. Get off my lawn.
All I can imagine is him snorting cocaine off a table.
Just with every sound,
I don't.
Wait. Who was it that told me that they outsourced his grunts? Who the hell was it?
That was us, wasn't it?
I thought, was it you? I can't remember. I just remember hearing that they, to save his vocal cords, they started outsourcing his grunts.
I just want to be known as a professional grunter.
Oh, God, that was this podcast.
I thought that you said that you outsourced his grunts, as in, you needed it for something, so you, cameoed Tim Allen and
No, they got someone else they got someone else to do his grunts for.
Yeah, that was, in all honesty, some people remember, so, it's not like I'm trying to hide anything. That was from the DJ era of this podcast.
Oh, okay. I remember hearing about it. Yeah, in DM or something, or when we were playing Shell or something.
Yeah,
the
God,
conversations.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, it's the worst where you just try to tune out the fucking miserable reality that you're playing. So it's what random shit can we talk?
Real impossible for me, unfortunately. That's why I don't play the fucking game.
Shout out to
Which is funny because that's just what this
card.
Sorry. That's what this podcast has become. It's just us trying to tune out this awful reality of we can't play NHL 22 anymore. Actually, that's a great reality. What am I talking about?
Legacy. We got to go back to Legacy.
There you go. Speaking of great realities, you want to make your reality great. Hey, as always, the show brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the ultimate place for all of your needs of male grooming. You can use code Tougie at checkout for 20% off your order and free worldwide shipping. Again, code Tougie at Manscaped. Everything that you need. Doesn't matter if it's your face, doesn't matter if it's your balls, or anywhere in between. Shit, you could shave your legs if you want to.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a health teacher who used to be in the Navy, so he kept shaving his legs until the day he died? I did. That's a weird story, but he was a nice guy. And I'm sure if he was still alive today, he would use Manscaped and code Tougie.
Jesus.
Crash with just the disappointing look
No, I'm
like
good.
only a father could have. Shout out to Manscaped for the last time they'll sponsor the show.
Oh my god! Full disclosure, Polina actually got me a Manscaped, the whole package, the whole performance package, and it has been a blessing. My balls thank me, and I thank them with the Manscaped lawnmower.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I really want that ear.
Yeah,
It sucks.
Yeah,
I didn't never want to be at this point in my life, but I'm about to be 32. You know that in May. Tougie, I'll be 32. Bro, we met each other when I was in my 20s. Like, I was 27 when we first started.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What day in May?
7th.
7th? Okay, I'm a 13th.
Oh, we're real close to each other. How cool.
Crash, when's your birthday?
Not in May. June. It's June.
Oh, right, close.
There you go.
So.
Close enough.
Oh, God. Well, with that, everybody, again, in case you can't tell, we are stretched thin, like thin, like pizzeria going out of business. So holy shit, stretch it thin. We got to make this last. Nothing has happened in the past couple of days that's not essentially tied to Russia, Ukraine, essentially. Like, everything's tied to that. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and talk about, like, hey, players are leaving the KHL because the ruble's plummeted. That's not fun to talk about. So we kind of have, like, 4 things, if that. 4 things. But hey, those 4 things, we will stretch thin. It'll be fine.
You're going to get your hour and a half's worth today on nothing.
Watch us run up to, like, 2 hours on just literally nothing.
I'm so excited to see how long this show is going to be. It could be anywhere between a half an hour and 3 hours. And I don't quite know which one it's going to be yet, but it's going to be exciting to find out.
If it gets to 3 hours, legally you have to pay us, Tougie. Just saying.
2 hours and 59. Oh, goodness.
And that, my friends, is why no one has health care.
Yeah, there you go. Case in point. Here, yeah, let's let Sin talk about the joys of law and the lack of healthcare in the U.S. We have 2 Canadians on the show, so it's just, you know, they don't know what it's like.
I got favorite shit.
That's my favorite Breaking Bad meme is if it happened in Canada, the doctor would tell me he had cancer, and then he'd go, don't worry, we're going to take care of it. And there's no bill. And the end.
The end. That's,
Breaking Bad Canada. It's just following your everyday high school science teacher. Nothing bad happens.
It actually turned out to be a show called Mr. D. Those who are Canadian would understand that reference.
Oh my God, Mr. D.
Yeah.
Fucking D's nuts.
He was a teacher, became a comedian in a contest, and he got a show and a deal. He now hosts Family.
Oh wait, is it Jerry D from Family Feud?
Yeah.
Jerry D.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And he's soon to be our prime minister if everything goes well with Ukraine. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry.
I appreciated it for what it was. I appreciated it.
Why did you have to zoom in?
Because he's a comedian. Endo does a lot of
Way
zooming.
too fucking soon. Yeah, I zoom. I'm the zoomer.
He does.
Yeah.
He really tries to spice up the video portion of the pod. It's great.
That's the special
Good
effects
time.
budget
That's
alone
good.
right there.
So I just fucking sit here.
First thing I want to talk about, because Sin's had to eat some crow lately. I'm kidding, but, you know, the Habs fans will never let it go. We've talked about recently the fact that Cole Caulfield's turned it around under Martin St. Louis. There is another forward in which we've, talked about a little bit in a negative context, that being the likes of Alexis Lafreniere of the New York Rangers. This was from Hockey Stat Miner on Twitter. Lafreniere has hit more, or has hit 25 career 5v5 goals faster than Taylor Hall did, faster than Jack Hughes, Patrick Kane, Nathan McKinnon, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Steven Stamkos, and he hit 25 faster than John Tavares got the 20. Perspective, perhaps. Or not. Who's to say? It's one of those things, right? Like you look at a raw stat line and it's like, he's not doing that great. But then you see sort of an inside thing like this. It's like, oh, okay, I guess he's doing pretty well. Because apparently he doesn't get much power play time either, which could contribute to that, which makes me wonder, why aren't you giving Alexi Lafreniere much power play time? And if you are and he sucks on the power play, then what the hell?
I saw his stat line. He actually got quite a few minutes. I can't remember what it was, and he just like he wasn't really producing on it, and so. But then, of course, the Rangers fans are still pissed. Like, you got to keep putting him out there. It'll come eventually. I can see both sides of it, but yeah, I mean, when you're in the Rangers position, you're kind of going for the playoffs. Like, you kind of are. Like so yeah, you got to play your best players at the right times, and there's a lot of still kind of question marks surrounding Lafreniere and especially Kakko.
Yeah, who is I think still out injured right now. I think, maybe not. Maybe he's just been that quiet. I haven't paid attention to the Rangers for the past couple of weeks. I was right. Yeah, he's still hurt. He has 14 points in 37 games this year, 5 goals.
I'm going to put my old man hat on and say I think that the current generation of hockey fans were treated way too much to amazing superstars out of the draft, more than what we saw in the 80s and 90s. I think we saw a lot more NHLers in the 80s and 90s, but I think the pressure on Lafreniere, he's highly touted. Yeah. There's a lot of highly touted players that I don't think are going to make the immediate impact that an Ovechkin, that a Crosby, that a McDavid are going to make right away.
I mean, even McKinnon took a while, like 24, until he started having like 70-point years. Like, I mean, he got that $6 million deal, and at first, I'm sure everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know about this." But
same with Draisaitl.
Yeah, I was one of the ones, and I will proudly eat crow to be like, "Who's this fucking Draisaitl guy? He just spears people in the nuts. Screw him." And then and all of a sudden, he's one of the best players in the freaking world.
I wish I clipped it, because I remember on stream somebody asked me like how I think Lafreniere is going to pan out, and I thought McKinnon is the perfect example. This was pre-draft, because he was really good in junior, but that doesn't always translate to the NHL. And I don't think Bedard is going to automatically translate to the NHL. I don't think Shane Wright is going to automatically translate to the NHL. But these guys have got this world of expectation on them that they're going to be a 100-point player year one. And I think that is very unfair. And Lafreniere is the blueprint to that, yeah, we have seen some exceptional talent. That doesn't mean that the number one overall pick every single year is going to be a leading scorer and a hard candidate in their first 3 seasons. I think Lafreniere is trending in the right direction. I think he's getting the right coaching. He's getting enough ice time. As you say, if he's not getting power play time, maybe it is time to show him or give him a little bit more. But I think the expectation on high draft picks right now is astronomical, and we kind of have to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah. To your point, in the 90s, I'm looking at the number one overall picks from every year in the 90s. 1990 was Owen Nolan. Really good player. Top 6, if not top line player. Really good. Like elite generational talent? No, but really, really good. 91 was Eric Lindros. Same boat, probably would have been in that elite generational talent had it not been for the injuries. 1992 was Roman Hamrlik. Like, good, capable NHL defenseman, but like number one stalwart defenseman? No. Not in my opinion, at least. 93 was Alex Daig. That speaks for itself.
Legend.
94, Ed Jovanovski. Really good defenseman, but like elite number one? No. 95, Brian Berard. Same thing. 96, Chris Phillips. 97 was Joe Thornton. Elite generational talent.
Yes.
98 was Vinny LeCavalier. I wouldn't put him in generational, like elite talent at his best and when he was still healthy. And then 99 was Patrick Stefan. There's one slam dunk generational talent in Joe Thornton, at least elite like throughout his entire career. And then you have Lindros, LeCavalier, maybe Owen Nolan, and then good.
But if you're going to put
Crash's point now,
if you're going to put Thornton up there too, he didn't really develop right away. It took him a few seasons to get his legs under him in this league as well. So to put all that pressure on him year 1, year 2, year 3, and there always was pressure on the number 1 overall draft pick. But I think that's what we're seeing more of a Joe Thornton, Nathan McKinnon growth period. And I would love to see that from Bedard. I'd love to see that with Wright. I'd love to see that with Mishkov. But we're seeing more need for development once they jump to the NHL versus guys like a McDavid, guys like a Sidney Crosby who could just jump right in and make an impact right away. Even Crosby wasn't he was better than most, but he wasn't where he ended up for 2 seasons. So I think writing off Lafreniere at this point is just foolish, but also putting all the pressure on Lafreniere for being a number 1 overall draft pick. We're seeing with him more of a development phase than anybody else over the past little bit as well.
Joe Thornton had 48 points in his first 2 seasons. That's 136 games. Yep. He had 48 points.
Total?
7 points in his rookie season in 55 games.
Yeah.
So it does take these guys some time. You're right. I agree
and back
with that.
Then
the idea of
it was tough to just break into the NHL because you were a literal boy and you were jumping into a game of men and you had to be expected every single year to put muscle on. It was a heavy ass game. Heavier than it is now, especially.
Imagine being Joe Thornton at his size as an 18-year-old kid, and you have to step on the ice against Scott Stevens, and he's thinking, I'm going to light this kid up. Yeah. He thinks he's big. I'm going to fucking destroy this kid.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Probably did, too.
Fresh fish.
Probably.
Fresh fish.
Basically. Now, Crash, one of the things, too, that I wanted to ask you, because obviously you weren't on the last show, and then we did our kind of updated award predictions for what we thought would happen. All of us agreed that, all of us agreed that Moritz Seider was our Calder favorite. Now, he just set the Red Wings franchise record amongst rookie defensemen. It's very specific, but basically he has 11 points in 7 games. He's crushing it right now. Is he your choice for the Calder?
Yeah, hands down. Hands down.
Yeah.
He's coming you hear about his stat line every night and it's impressive. You hear about what he's been able to do with that blue line. It's impressive. There's Lucas Raymond, impressive, but not to the same extent, especially being on the same team. If those two could figure things out, I mean, you could probably have a Danny Heatley, Alexei Yashin situation all over again. But on the same token, Moritz Seider's just running away with this thing. Honestly, you could hand it out today, and you wouldn't be wrong at the end of the season.
Yeah, defensemen do not get enough love in so many things, and that is the consideration of the weight they have to pull, and being able to put up the points that he's putting up, even though it's not like the tops or whatever. It's incredibly impressive what he's doing, especially with this Crash mentioned what he has to work with and who his defensive partners are, the respective other partners he has on that team.
I do believe his defensive partner right now is Nicoletti. So, yeah.
Wow, to do that and carry that on your shoulders. I mean, that's impressive.
I agree. Very, very much so. In terms of some of the other things that we had to talk about today. Now, I wrote down kind of our run sheet here, and I'm just like, why are we talking about this guy? So, and I'll throw it over to you. We kind of have this segment called, the refs suck. Which we knew. Obviously, we've tried to avoid talking about weird officiating, but that's kind of been the highlight of the past couple of days. That's how you know it's been a rough couple of days and that we have nothing to talk about on this podcast. A lot of what happened is revolving around officiating, which sucks. Tim Peel, retired NHL referee Tim Peel, randomly decided to take to Twitter and tried to dunk on Mark Scheifele in response to the Jake Evans hit last year, which I barely remember. I know he trucked him and was suspended, I think, right at the end of the season.
5 games.
Of all the times to just be like, I'm going to try to dunk on this guy. And he was suspended right at the start of the season because it carried over.
Wasn't it in relation to after Mark Scheifele got into a fight with someone and like cheered? No, it was kind of a nothing fight.
Yes, he fought Chris Weidman on the Habs.
Yeah, so I guess
He wrestled. They didn't throw any punches. They
Yeah.
kind of hugged each other and fell to the ground, which
I mean, I didn't like it either. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that was nothing. And you're like trying to fire the boys up and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe he's a shit person. Who knows?
I mean, there was the question of like he and Wheeler's leadership when Laine left the team, right? There were all those reports out there.
Yeah.
I didn't really see it as like a bad thing because they were in Winnipeg. Had it been in Montreal, they were in Winnipeg, if I remember correctly. Like he was wearing the dark jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the score was. I don't know the full situation. If they were down 1 or 2, you want to get the crowd into it. You want to get the boys going and everything. And I mean, it was a fight. So he got up and, raised the hands just to say, hey, the captain, the assistant captain, your leadership is doing this. I get it wasn't a full fight. I get both sides. I get it wasn't a fight, so you shouldn't be doing that. But it was deemed a fight, therefore he got up and wanted to get the boys going. I get that part of it, that I'm not necessarily trying to defend the guy, but on the same token, I didn't really see anything wrong with it being at home. If it was trying to get the boys going in Montreal, then yeah, it looks really stupid. But everybody, or 80% of the people in Winnipeg, in that arena, are probably jacked up crazy because he did that, and that was the intent. I'm sure he intended to throw a couple more punches, land a couple more punches, but the whole goal of that was to get the boys going, get the crowd going, and I think it worked. Therefore, I don't really see too much wrong with it.
In terms of the Winnipeg Jets, they're a team we haven't talked too much about this year because I think like they have their own issues to worry about beyond like, oh, Tim Peel's talking trash about us on Twitter. They are currently 7 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. They have a game at hand. They are right in that San Jose, Vancouver mix. And as Sin can tell you as a Sharks fan right now, I mean, shit, James Reimer is now out week to week. So sorry, Leafs fans who are hoping for that Reimer trade. That probably won't happen now. Like the Sharks, it's weird, right? Because Winnipeg's right in the middle of San Jose and Vancouver. San Jose, we want to make the playoffs, you're not going to. Vancouver, we want to make the playoffs, okay, you might. Where the hell does that leave the Jets? And I saw something that pointed this out. The Jets are the first team in NHL history to blow a 4-goal lead, but then still win by 4 goals. They blew a 4-goal lead and then still won the game by 4. Earlier this season, they were up 3-0 on the Devils, gave up 4 straight goals, and then still won 8-4. How do you possibly make the playoffs when you're playing like that?
It's pretty impressive, and in a bad way. Their roster is pretty good too. That's what's crazy to me. Like they still have like all this dope ass talent. I think we mentioned at the beginning of the season, and it's like, if Hellebuck struggles, this team could have some issues. Seems like Hellebuck may be struggling, but overall that team is struggling in general. I don't know. It's hard for me to point out and just like point at one dude because I don't, again, watch their games. But when I think about the Jets and I think about the roster, I think about the players they have. How the hell are they doing that? That's like the Leafs kind of effect. Like that's, you look at the Leafs doing what they do and you're still like, how the hell are they still doing that?
It's something in the water in Canada, isn't it?
Hey, whoa. Don't blame Canada. Blame yourselves.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
I would say that windows close, and those guys aren't getting any younger, and they've tried to bring in younger talent, and those younger talent aren't stepping up, so windows are starting to close, and Paul Maurice probably saw it, and said, these guys aren't listening to me anymore, and we're starting to trend downwards. It's not working. And that's why he left. That's how I see it, is these guys, the window, whatever window they have, for some reason, every window in that building is closing at the same time, and we're seeing it this season.
For the record, Scheifele has a Hellebuck has a 912 save percentage. If Scheifele had a 912, that'd be a whole different story about leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, Hellebuck's been okay but not quite like elite level what you would expect to necessarily see out of Hellebuck. Even like the goals saved above average, it's a 4, which is okay, I guess. But it's like he had 45 games played last year. He's at 45 now this year. He had an 11 in terms of goals saved above average. So he hasn't quite been himself.
Yeah.
That's one of those instances where you're looking, it's like, okay, the team in front of him probably has something to do with it. In terms of the officials, again, because we can't be done talking about this, interesting moment in the Avs-Yotes game. The Coyotes won that game, which is shocking. Nathan MacKinnon caught another stick to the face. I'm waiting for him to just go full fishbowl at this point because the guy just can't stop getting hit in the face. He takes sticks to the face like anyone playing Draisaitl takes sticks to the balls because Leon just can't help himself. But the interesting thing is MacKinnon then fought Dyson Mayo and just beat the tar out of him. And the referee just let it happen. And he was trying to pull Dyson Mayo like away from MacKinnon, and McKinnon's just still getting like 5 free punches in there. Why don't referees still know how to properly end fights?
Are we talking referees or linesmen?
Both.
So
why do officials?
Yeah, so technically it's not the role of the referee. The referee is supposed to I don't know what the term would be. Like, it's not staying impartial, but he has to be more aware of what is happening versus keeping it from happening. So the linesmen are actually more responsible to break up a fight than the referee. Just a point of clarification.
Technicality. Regardless.
Just actually on this podcast. Thanks.
Yeah.
New here. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's...
Oh my God.
That's what's crazy to me. Like, the refs, they seem to always break up fights either too early or way too late. And it's the same kind of deal with, like, the way they call shit. They either don't call anything or they overcall. And I don't know. There's just, like, they cannot find the happy balance. They can't figure it out. And I think it's because, honestly, the rule book doesn't fucking know. The league doesn't know. So, therefore, no one knows how to deal with these situations. And I'm sure they're doing the best they can, but it's a really horrible look for the league when you got these two people trying to fight, you need to let this happen, and they're immediately, the second it looks like they stop throwing punches, they immediately jump in. Situation like this happens, like you said, and MacKinnon's still wailing on the guy, even though someone should get his, body in between and completely just stop it.
Yeah.
So
the last thing, go ahead, Endo, actually.
Chris,
Fair
let me
enough.
speak for once in this thing.
No.
Anything.
It's my show. Go ahead.
All right, I see how it is. I just looked at the fight right now. So I think the official steps in for a little bit at the beginning, and then they start fucking throwing bombs, and he's like, all right, cool, I'm cool, and just step back, and then just MacKinnon beats the fucking tar out of Mayo. Like he stepped in at the beginning, and I guess he was like, all right, I'm gonna let him swing hands, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna back off, and then it just goes sideways. Also, shout out Gabriel Landeskog for absolutely cross-checking Jacob Chichardt in the back, and then Chichardt freaking out on him, and then Landeskog getting up and like, what did I do? What the heck? Like, no one's talking about that at all. It's funny.
Future LA King.
I think it's because people expect it. We've talked about it on the show, like Landeskog, Draisaitl, Jamie Benn, like they're in that conversation of like, all right, you're not even sneaky dirty anymore. We know what you are.
Yeah.
I thought Crash was going to have a point there because I cut him off.
I said, I was going to say future LA King, Jacob Chikrin. Please refer to him as future.
And
LA
Philip Forsberg, and this guy. Bring them all in.
And Mark
Is that the
Edward
same
Vlasic.
game where? Is that the same game where MacKinnon slashed the linesman, or that was a couple weeks ago? Actually,
that was a couple weeks ago. A disputed slash, by the way.
Right. It was
Didn't
not
go full
intended.
Antoine Vermette. Was that Vermette?
I think
Just slashed the.
I want to say yes.
It's the only instance I can remember of like outright on referee violence is obviously the Dennis Weidman hit.
Yeah.
That's the one that always comes to mind.
Oh, he was concussed. Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah, believe that.
Two-handed the guy. Like, it was ridiculous.
So even if you thought it was a player, it was still pretty fucking illegal.
Yeah. I think the argument was that like he was so drowsy he didn't even see the guy and he ran into him, but like that was such a blatant.
It was a weird one. The final thing that happened official-wise, did you guys catch any of the Penguins-Lightning game?
Jon Cooper.
Holy shit. So, first and foremost, watch the highlights, because this was an insane game, and I want that playoff series, please. It's not even a guarantee that if 1 through 8 were to come back, that we would end up with it. Right now, Tampa's in third in the East, just off of conference standings. Pittsburgh's in fourth, so if Toronto could do a little bit of work there, and the New York Rangers too, then magically in a different world it would happen. Corey Perry slashed Vasilevsky. That led to a line brawl. And yeah, Jon Cooper was ejected for arguing with Wes McCauley. Because, you never take center stage away from Wes McCauley. He loves it. And then Jon Cooper, after the game, was basically questioning why the Penguins so infrequently get called for penalties. So, drawing the ire of Penguins fans, drawing the ire of Wes McCauley. It's been a while, I feel like, since we've seen a coach get ejected as well.
Second period as well. It wasn't like a end of game rant. It was late in the second, so there was still a whole full period of hockey, which was I found interesting at least.
Yeah, I mean, especially earlier on in a game, right? Like the idea of like, hey, it's not exactly over, and you're just losing your mind at an official, right or wrong. Just that idea of like, yeah, hey, let's check them early. So I highly recommend everyone check out those highlights. And yeah, I want that series, and I don't want it to necessarily lead right back into the, hey, for the love of God, can we change the playoff format deal? But right now, if the season were to end today, the Penguins would play the Rangers. And that would be fine. And that would be fun. I'd rather see the Penguins play the Lightning. I'm sure the Leafs would also rather see the Lightning play the Penguins. Because right now, that's who they're due up against. A couple years ago, how great would it have... Even now, an Islanders-Leafs playoff series would be nice, because Islanders fans will not let it go.
Yeah.
I want more of these natural rivalry series, not just this
We need the
forced
Island Boys.
bullshit.
Island boy.
Yeah, there you go. And that gang.
Gang.
I don't get this reference.
That's okay, Crash.
Because you're not an island boy.
Crash and I are too white for this.
Yeah. Sin.
I'm too white for this.
I play jazz, dude. I got a pass.
Oh,
I go-
we're good.
Can I go on the off ramp of complaining about the playoff format?
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna do the same.
Stretch it thin.
I think the 1 through 8, the top 3 or the division leaders get in, and then wild card and blah 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 blah. Get it back into the divisions. That's where we lost a lot of the matchups that we're used to seeing. Like, when was the last time we saw Calgary Edmonton? 90s. We have not seen Calgary or Edmonton in the playoffs, and we always saw Calgary Edmonton. We always saw Calgary Vancouver. I'm going as a little tyke in the 80s and 90s. Like, those were almost guaranteed. It was very rare that Winnipeg made it. But when they made it, that was a classic matchup because of the divisions, not because of 1 through 8 in the conference or anything like that. And I think even going as far as, and I'm going to use Calgary again, when Calgary faced Anaheim, I believe in back-to-back seasons in the playoffs, that was a big thing. And then all of a sudden became a rivalry, and then we never saw it again. Didn't happen again, right? Whether Anaheim didn't make the playoffs, Calgary didn't make the playoffs, they went through a different line through the playoffs. The 1 through 8 has always bothered me, mainly because we don't get those divisional matchups, and I think that's where we're losing our rivalries. As to your point, Tougie, is like, you don't see Calgary Edmonton in the playoffs. You don't see those division rivalries. They're getting heated in the regular season, but arguably the regular season's kind of pointless because it's not happening in the playoffs. And if you can eliminate a team, that is going to put more on that rivalry than, oh, we beat you 5 of 7 times last season. Well, who cares? Let's get them back in the playoffs and let's see who actually can win in 7 games. I hate the 1 through 8.
To your point, I had to look this up about the Oilers-Flames postseason history. Any guesses, boys, the last time the Oilers played the Flames in the playoffs? What year?
I want to say it was like It was the year that they didn't even face them the year that the Flames won the Stanley Cup. It was before that.
Correct.
It had to have been before that.
1991.
91.
91.
Okay.
And then before that, 88, 86, 84, 83.
So what was the
So in the
playoff
80s
format back then?
All the
Divisional.
time. Well, you got to
four in
figure,
the
yeah.
division.
Yeah, and there were fewer teams, so it was more likely. But even then, there has not been a Battle of Alberta in the playoffs for 30 years.
Right now, the format is kind of almost set to make that happen more so, just because that's what they want with the division things, but it doesn't work out like that. Like, that was their intention, but...
Yeah. That's the point. It doesn't
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there
Like,
could
it's
be a season where the division leader makes it into the playoffs and no other team from that division makes the playoffs. Versus, and I get why it's there, it's the participation medal of the NHL. You had a better record than those guys over there, so you get in, kind of thing. Whereas I just love the rivalry part of it, where I just want to see teams get out of their division, then face off against their conference, and then go to the finals. I love the old style. It's still, if the top four from the division, 2 and 2, you still get 8 teams. You still get representation from the division in the playoffs. Who cares if the 5th best team in your division doesn't make the playoffs, even if they're better than the 2nd place team in the other division? You got to get out of your division before you take on the conference, and then to take on for the Stanley Cup, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't hate it. For the record, too, I was very surprised by this. 284 lifetime meetings for the Oilers and the Flames. The Flames actually have the series wins over the Oilers all time. You'd have thought, at least I would have, that the Oilers would have more wins than the Calgary Flames in the Battle of Alberta just because of the Gretzky era. That is not true.
The Flames were
Caught
good
off
in
guard by
between like 86 to
And the
89.
Oilers were shit for 12 years.
Look at the 89 roster of the Flames. Like, it's disgusting with like Nieuwendyk and Gilmore and Fleury and Vernon and Al McInnes. Like Gary Suter, Gary Roberts. Like, that team would never be able to be built in a salary cap era.
Nope.
Comparably. Just to say, you know, the Oilers had one of the best, if not the best. I think TSN ran a thing of like the best team of all time, and it was like the 85 Oilers or something like that. Like, that team obviously would never be able to be built either. But it just, it blows me away that, you know, teams like that can be built. Why wouldn't you want them to face each other, especially if they're in the same division? I think the NHL would make more money out of seeing Toronto, Ottawa in the playoffs every year or every second year. Like New York and the Rangers and the Islanders.
Yeah.
Those, like when you say Pittsburgh, New York, like that is a classic matchup from the 90s. But there's not as much there territorial as much as like back in the day when you saw Montreal and Quebec in the same playoff series. That was insane. It was crazy to watch, only because those two cities hated each other. Calgary and Edmonton do not get along. They should be in the playoffs fighting for a spot, and it shouldn't just be handed to them. If you're the 5th best team in your division, you don't make the playoffs.
I think
the Flames miss playoffs, and the Oilers miss playoffs, and then the 1 through 8 comes through, and it just, you have a better chance of playing a team in the other division than you do somebody in your own division.
I think to make that happen, really, you have to kind of turn the regular season back to playing a lot more divisional games so that you can justify when a team in 5th place has a shit ton more points than like a team in another division shouldn't get in because they had their chance against, you know, the teams in their division to kind of get themselves in that playoff position. I think you have to alter that. And I don't know if the NHL would ever be willing to do that because they're trying to make they're doing whatever they want with all the interleague play and making sure everyone plays each other a bunch, trying to get new fans and stuff like that. But it's also bad because, man, whenever an Eastern Conference team comes into like San Jose, attendance is kind of bad enough right now, but like no one ever fucking comes. Like, dude, like it's awful. Like Buffalo play there, there's no one there.
Toronto and Montreal and Calgary is a sellout. It's a guaranteed sellout. But I also get that San Jose and Calgary are two completely different markets as well. So
One other thing that happened while we're kind of talking about, like, hey, different markets, and hey, another California team. That's my transition there. Anaheim Ducks prospect Lukas Dostal scored a goal in the AHL with the San Diego Gulls. He also stopped 50 shots in that game. So why not, while we're stretching for time, and we got an extra mind here with Crash Andrews. We're not going to do AHL goalie goals because that'd be impossible. But NHL goalies to score a goal in the NHL. Can you name them all, gentlemen? Work together.
Yeah.
Can you name every goalie to score a goal?
Well, I know.
Crash, you get the old ones, we get into the fresh ones.
Okay, sure. Can I start off with a meme though? Chris Mason.
Yep. Correct.
Oh my God,
There
he
you
did.
go.
Oh, well, there
Chris
you go.
Mason scored a goal on April 15th of 2006 for the Nashville Predators against the Phoenix Coyotes.
I'm assuming Hasek has.
Nope.
What?
Incorrect.
Oh my God!
Dominic
Wait,
Hasek.
wait. There's man. who
Hasek
am I
didn't.
thinking?
Bro,
Well, I know
he
Nabokov
has,
did.
like, a few.
Nabokov did,
Yeah,
yes.
someone has
on
multiples.
March
Who
of
am I thinking
02.
of that has multiples?
Broder.
There are two goalies that have multiple goals.
Broder.
There's one, yeah.
And Peck.
Correct. Marty Brodeur scored 3 of them.
Hextall scored 3, including playoffs. I think
2. 3, including playoffs, yes.
Yeah.
Hextall with 2. Good.
Osgood.
We have 8 names left. Chris Osgood, good one.
Mike Smith.
Another good one. Mike Smith with the look at Crash Andrews.
Did he? I thought that was the fake out one because like he was such a good puck handler. I'm like, I bet he somehow never scored a goal.
Mike Smith is the reason why they included goalie goals into the All-Star game the next season.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Peck-
October of 2013 against Detroit. Mike Smith. That is the second most recent goalie goal, by the way. 2013.
There was one
Peck-
just recently too.
The most recent one was in 2020.
You got to just finish it.
Pecorine.
There you go.
Pecorine.
I've been
fuck,
saying that
there
like
it
for
is.
the past minute and a half.
You just got to be pushy with it. Finish the sentence.
Billy
Speak
Smith.
with your
people
chest.
Finish. I get it. Yeah.
5 left.
Billy Smith. He
There's
was
some
the
tough
first one
ones.
credited.
Correct.
Yep.
Billy Smith. 4 left. This is where it gets tough.
Grant Fuhr.
No.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Kid.
No.
Kidd.
The oldest one.
Throwing a fucking name out there.
Fucking.
January of 99 for the Ottawa Senators. You also have...
Lalim. Was it not?
No. Good guess, though.
Shit.
He's not a goalie.
There was one in January of 01. I can't say the team. It'd be too obvious. February of 04 for the Buffalo Sabres.
Luongo has one, right?
No.
No.
Oh my
No, he
God.
doesn't.
I'm
And
off.
December of 2011. You got 4 left. Can you get them?
Oh, I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I could start giving more hints, but I'll give you a second.
I've got Martin Biron in my head, but I know that's wrong.
Nope, not Biron.
Kiprusoff.
No.
Not Kiprasov.
Oh.
So we go back to 1999
Senators.
for the Ottawa Senators.
If it's not Lalim, it wouldn't have been Gerber. He wasn't the guy yet.
Do we
Not
count
Gerber.
Vezatoskala and Jonathan Bernier for scoring on themselves?
No.
Are you sure?
So the one in 99, he played for the Leafs, Sens, and the Thrashers. He retired in 03.
Eddie Belfour.
No.
Not Eddie Belfour.
Rip.
His first name,
Potvin.
No.
not Felix Potvin. This guy, his last name, I mean, shares it with a professional wrestler who has a reality show.
Brock Lesnar.
Long way to the top.
John Cena.
Just naming wrestlers.
All right. We'll say you missed this one. January 2nd of 1999, Damian Rhodes scored a goal for the Ottawa
tough
Senators.
That had to be
that's
a tough
credited.
one.
That was a credited
Maybe the
goal. That
toughest
he didn't
one.
shoot it.
It counts.
I know it counts, but counts less.
The next one, the hint should give it away. January 2nd of 2001 for the Montreal Canadiens.
That's not Price.
No, he wasn't.
2001
name?
crash. Jesus
Fuck, what's
Christ.
his name? I can't remember his fucking
Tebow?
name.
He won a Hart Trophy.
Theodore.
Jose
Yes.
Theodore.
Jose Theodore, number 1 goaler until Carey
Wait,
Price.
the guy who won the Hart that year, Jerome McGinley?
Yes. Well, it was 2 years later, wasn't it? Fucking hell. For the Buffalo Sabres in February of 04, he also played for the Canucks and 17,000 teams overseas. 21st overall pick out of Finland, 1997. He might be more obscure than Damian Rhodes.
Yeah, no, I was gonna.
2002 All-Star.
What? Out of Finland?
It's a real tough one.
2004?
I'm gonna hate myself when you tell me who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Tis Mika Norrinen.
Oh,
Probably more obscure than Damian Rhodes.
Yeah.
But Mika Norrinen has a goalie goal. And the final one, December of 2011 for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Cam Ward.
Yes.
how the hell did we
Not
forget
bad.
about him?
You guys only missed two, Damian Rhodes and Mika Norrinen, and those are probably the two most obscure names on the list, so not bad.
I actually completely forgot that Cam Ward scored.
I completely forgot he was a goaltender for a minute, man. Like I hadn't heard that name in years, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah.
He's like
Now,
a
in
wine guy
fairness,
now.
Cam Ward was another one where it was an own goal. Ilya Kovalchuk own goaled it, but Cam Ward got credit. Almost half from the looks of it. Almost half of the goals that have counted as goalie goals have been own goals.
So Nabokov is superior to a lot of goaltenders.
Oh yeah, no. If they shoot it, like there should be this category should be separated to scored and credited. Because there's a lot
agree.
of credited where it's the own goal and the goalie made the save, or like there's cases where it's a face-off win after a puck freeze, and it goes back down and scores.
Yeah.
So the goalie gets credited with that. Where like Brodeur, all three were shots. One of Hextall's was a credit, and he scored 2. So I mean that's. You think that that's an easy target from the other end of the ice, but it is not. And I can't imagine with all the padding of a goaltender to be able to make that shot
That's crazy.
and get it between the posts is insane.
I wanted to look up how many goalies in the AHL have scored goals, by the way.
I think it's a lot more.
It's about the same amount, but the problem is, like, you'd never get this. Like, the first goalie was Darcy Wakaluk.
Oh, Wakaluk.
Paul Cohen, Rob Stauber,
Played for the
Christian
Kings.
Bronsard. Chris Mason actually has a goal in the NHL and the AHL.
Hey.
Fun fact. The most recent goalie to do it was Tristan Jarry.
Oh.
Jarry, Nedeljkovic, Jonas Gustafsson, Leafs legend and Bruins legend,
Fucking
has an
God.
AHL goalie goal. Redo Berra. So,
Flames legend.
but then you have an obscure name like Seamus Kotick.
Seamus though. Nice.
Good old Seamus. So yeah, hey, good way to stretch for time, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You guys get all but 2. To really showcase and to end this show, I had asked for viewer questions. I got to be honest, you guys dropped the ball a little bit. There were questions. I'm just not going to say they were very good. That's right. I'll throw you under the bus. I don't care.
Damn it, Warrior.
Same.
Sorry.
It's the same thing as me asking for charity stream ideas and people throwing out fucking nipple pasties. The fuck? What kind of community have I cultivated?
Sorry.
What am I?
We
what am I doing with
attract
my
what we're
life?
ready for, Tougie. So perhaps it's
We're ready
time
for pasties.
for you to get some other.
Someone else said 10K for the OnlyFans. I don't know, man. People are thirsty.
I think it's just our way. It's just our way of saying we do not want to see your nipples.
Hey, we raised 10K last time. Who's to say it will happen later on this month? I'll have more details about that later on. To really show that we're stretching thin here, someone put up a list of the team leader in plus minus for every team. Like the high end, the good side, and the bad side.
The stat no one cares about.
It's the worst stat on earth. It is. However, there are some interesting things. Like how for Colorado, Devon Taves is already a plus 45. Team worst is Darren Helm at a minus 5. That's a pretty big gap. Endo Mills. Who is the leader in plus minus for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Man. Am I supposed to guess, or am I just supposed to like look at it?
Yeah.
For
guess.
plus minus, why
Yeah.
should be like God?
Well, I don't think God plays, but he would be up
we
there.
need Kim to come down here and play for the Leafs.
You need
We have a
Christ,
chance.
is what you need.
Yeah, we need to say you need Jesus. This team needs Jesus. Just come on, Lord. If you're up there,
All right, you've stalled
give
for
us a
how long and
sign.
still just haven't named a Maple Leaf?
Yeah, because I don't want to. But I don't know. Fucking Morgan Riley.
Yeah, it's Mitch Marner. On a plus 17. Tied for the worst is William Nylander, Jake Muzzin at a -8.
Huh.
No, but everyone loves William because of his fucking 6.9 mil contract a year.
I thought you were going to say because of his six-pack on Instagram.
I don't look at six packs on.
I would love Nylander too. He's a fantastic player on a great.
I will be shocked if he doesn't sign in the state of California. He looks like the type of dude that would just want to like go surfing on all of his off days.
Yeah. He's also dressed up like Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws, so maybe he'll do some marine biology as well.
Oh
I
my
have that Saturday Night Live skit where they had like the auditions for Star Wars. And Daryl Hammond's up there as Richard Dreyfuss as C-3PO. I was in Jaws. I don't deserve this. Anyway, sorry.
Alrighty.
Oh, educate yourself, kids. Crash Andrews.
Yes, sir.
You're a Kings fan.
Sure
as
am.
weird as that is. Who do you think leads the LA Kings in plus-minus this season?
I've got 2, potentially 3 names. The
Okay.
answer I want to go with is Adrian Kempe.
Wrong.
Then it's
Not even in the top 3.
the other 2 I was going to say is either Doughty or Kopitar, just to piss you off.
So Anze Kopitar has the team worst at a -7. To show you how much that stat doesn't mean a fucking thing.
Selkie favorite my ass.
Have you checked the plus-minus? Team best Matt Roy at a +15.
Jesus.
Oli Mata and Trevor Moore, both at +13. Trevor Moore, elite player. The Leafs fucking done goofed. Getting rid of Trevor Moore. Stat sucks. I love it so much. Sin, who leads the Sharks in plus-minus? By the way, as a team, the Sharks are a -25.
Yes, that's their goal differential. Yeah, they're awful. Who leads the team? Like, who's the least minus on that?
Who
team?
has the best? Yeah.
I gotta say, the best plus-minus.
Eric Carlson.
Couture. I gotta go with that.
Timo Meier at a +10.
Fuck! I was gonna say him. Why didn't I stick with my initial? The worst has got to be Brent Burns.
No, shockingly, it isn't. By the way, second best is Jacob Middleton.
That makes sense.
Meyer's a +10. Middleton's a +4. Second best is a +4.
Hey, Timo.
The 2 bottom are Nick Bonino at a -19
Yes.
and Matt Nieto at a -20.
Both of those make a shit ton of sense. But I usually expect a defenseman to be up there.
Oh, God. Now, there are a couple of meme-worthy ones. Any guesses on who the Arizona Coyotes' best player is in terms of plus-minus?
Oh, boy.
Keep in mind they're a -73 right now.
Yeah.
You never get
Keller.
it, in fairness.
Connor Garland.
Who plays for the Canucks and
Yes!
he might still have the best
Yes,
one.
exactly why.
Oh my god, that's great.
The Coyotes' best player is
Phil
Liam
Kessel.
O'Brien at a +1.
Liam O'Brien.
Chikrin's the worst at a -25. And for the Montreal Canadiens, leading the way with a team best -1 is Arturi Lehkonen.
Damn.
A team best -1. In fairness for the Sabres, Pissick and Yoki Haru both have a -3, and that's for the team best. I bring this up, not just a joke about how good or bad plus-minus is and how just irrelevant it is. This season, you really do have the haves and the have-nots. And I feel like maybe it is becoming more of a trend where it's just like, okay, the middle ground is less of a middle ground, and it's just you're either good or shit. But I mean, especially this year with just how bad some of these damn teams are. You still have, I mean, at this stage, Montreal, Arizona, Seattle are all still under 40 points on the year. We have a Bettman point with shootouts. How are you still under 40 points on the year?
And 2 of those
It
are
doesn't
trending
make
in the right
sense.
direction, though, too. Like, Montreal and Arizona have been decent over the past little bit. Not great,
It's
not
true.
stellar, but they are trending in the right direction, so...
It's true. Want to end it by noting Mark Scheifele, worst plus-minus on the Jets, so Tim Peel is right.
Tougie, look straight up. Look straight up. No, not forward. Up. What jersey's right
Show
behind
off
your
the-
head?
Oh, it's
Oh yeah, look,
exciting.
there it is. I thought you were just being like, "Hey, show off the neck beard. You're too lazy to shave."
No, I just
Jesus.
wanted to know what it felt like to look at Andrew Luck again. Thank you.
Oh my god!
It's the old.
And if you're too
The
lazy
old
to
Mark
shave up
Scheifele
your
jersey.
beard, you could use Manscaped. Use promo code Tougie. Get that lawnmower 4.0, 3.0. Love it. Use it. Have it. It's me approved. It's girlfriend approved. It's Tougie's neck beard possibly approved. Promo code Tougie.
I mean,
I don't know why, but for some reason, I imagine Don Cherry advertising for Manscaped right now when I started to talk. I don't know why. Okay,
all right.
presented by Manscaped here. Okay, wait, I'll go.
Oh man, Scape here. Get the lawnmower.
stop it.
Scape here. It's European.
Chip it out. Yo, chip the puck out when you're not sure. Kids,
Chip it.
shave. You gotta look good. See the suit. I'm looking good.
You gotta chip and change your razor every 2 weeks or so to keep that fresh shave. Promo code Tougie. You gotta do it.
You almost went Trump there. You almost went Trump.
Totally a
You
Manscaped.
need to change
I
it.
tell you what, really good deal. Really good deal with
Okay.
Russia.
Holy fuck,
on
why
the
you so good?
Manscaped.
Why you so good? Holy shit.
All right. So what I want to end this show is Crash
impressions.
Andrews. I want Crash Andrews to promote the Lawnmower 4.0 with the Trump impression while Sin backs him up as Don Cherry.
That is
Boys,
a-
promote the Lawnmower 4.0
God, that's
from our friends at Manscaped.
That's a Freedom Convoy wet dream right there. Jesus.
All right. Okay. We're talking facial hair here, Don. Okay. The stuff
Yeah.
that you scared me there, Don. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don
Can't make
Cherry.
it in the final. Oh.
Well, let me tell you something there, Donald. I got a better name, shorter to the point, okay? Just like the Bruins. And about the Bruins, when they go in there, they don't shave points, boy. They play good hockey all the way around.
Wrong.
Give me your best. I'm gonna come.
Pardon me?
I'm gonna come. You didn't watch that video where it's just like, don't come. Please don't come. He's like, I'm gonna come.
Oh my god.
Is that Trump?
Yeah, Trump. That's a video where Trump was was it
Oh, I missed that.
Kamala's like, don't come. Whatever you do, don't come. And he's like,
I'm
it's got,
gonna
like, a
come.
video that's
Listen, sweetheart. You can't keep me out. I'm gonna come.
like, Kamala, I'm coming for you.
I don't care where it is. I don't care where you want me.
No.
I'm gonna come.
Oh god. This is not what I needed in my life today.
Use code Tougie 24. Okay, the best deal on the Manscaped to cut everything head to toe. Don't touch the hair. Okay.
Oh my god.
I was the best original war criminal. So.
Ah,
Now watch me hit this drive.
Feel free.
just fucking go for it, honestly.
You can't be public enemy number one. You can be public enemy
No, dude.
Never fool
number
me.
three.
Just public enemy, just the group.
You could just be the group. I don't know the group.
The best.
I don't listen to urban music.
The best thing about Bush was whenever he thought he was funny or like trying to convince you,
He'd have the biggest, yeah, he'd have the biggest dad joke face on. You're like,
his head and his shoulders. Yeah, he'd be like,
All right. Okay.
God.
Careful what you wish for, Tougie. You never know. You never know.
it's called the remix. Bring back all the greatest.
Oh my god.
Coming to the White House. Putting the white back in the White House.
Bizkit.
Got the white back in the White House. The
Ladies and
white-
gentlemen, it's a chocolate starfish. And the hot dog flavored water.
hands up, hands down.
Hey, Colin. Take him to the Matthews Bridge.
This is just devolved into nothing. This is nothing. Oh man.
Well, the big question is whether or not this podcast is going to be called Stretch like it originally was, or if we're going with Endo's suggestion of Freedom Convoy Wet Dream.
Yes. Yes, Freedom Convoy Wet Dream, please.
Oh my god.
The Hall of American Presidents might be fitting.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Tougie Steak Podcast. We'll be back next week for more. Let me know.
Did we get him effectively canceled, boys? Did we?
No,
We
y'all
might.
are getting canceled. I'll come out of this unscathed.
No, yeah, you'll be fine. No, Crash is the one in trouble because now he might have to come back and do the impression every show.
Just have it on your stream
Do
deck.
the
Like,
ad read at the
wrong.
beginning.
Now we'll get our takes from two former American presidents. Your favorites, George Bush and Donald Trump.
it's like
gotta
the
have
old
children
J-Tail
clapping.
commercials.
God.
God. What would their radio show be? It's 102.5 W and the Fat Man. Like, what would it be?
W and the Fat on Live for 8. You gotta have the stingers in there too.
W in the fake tan.
Are we still on? What's going on?
Oh my god.
All right. New episode title.
W in the Cheeto.
I thought it was. I liked
know,
Freedom
and
Convoy Wet Dream. We're just.
It's gonna have to be.
anyone even listening anymore? Holy shit!
I don't
Oh my
know.
God. Is this all even gonna be in the fucking show?
If you made it to the end of this podcast, respond to us on Twitter, Discord. Let us know on Twitch if we're live streaming, except for Sin, because he doesn't do that much anymore. And
Adam.
let us give us the keyword W and the Cheeto. Let us know.
W.
But it's W.
Cheeto.
T-U-B-Y-A.
You don't pronounce things correct. Don't mess with Texas,
T-U-B-Y-A.
motherfuckers.
T-B-Y-A?
Thank
in the
you, everybody.
comments, or respond on Twitter or whatever, what you'd like to hear the president say
Oh, lordy.
that won't get to canceled.
I'll end this podcast by saying, what president is Endo going to be?
Come on.
Michelle.
Thank
My
you.
vote,
Thank you.
my vote
I'm glad
is
to be here.
Millard Fillmore.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. I'm glad to be here on the podcast. It's
Good thing, Tougie. Come
the show
on.
is over. Thank you for being here. I'm glad to be here. I love you back.
Not bad.
I love you,
Not
Black.
bad.
Show your birth certificate or this is over.
Plays the
Just
scene
have your
from
wife give me some more of
Lion
that candy. That's all. That's all I'm here for.
Come on, Toogs, what do you got? What has Toogs got? You got a little Bill Clinton in you there, buddy? Little
I don't play the saxophone, nor do I smoke cigars.
King. Nor did I have sex with that intercourse with that woman.
I might have sex with that woman. We'll see.
not have sex with that
I did
woman.
not get a sloppy blowjob in the Oval Office.
Who's the whitest president? Let's be honest. That's me.
All of them?
They're all pretty white.
They're all the whitest of
I don't know, like,
whites.
It sounds fucking weird. Just like, oh, I'm
God.
mad. I sound mad, but I'm happy.
Could I be Richard Nixon, but specifically Richard Nixon's head from Futurama?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Remember what you said
Yeah,
at the
we're
beginning?
finally done?
Yeah,
Remember
I think we're
finally
done.
with
We
the
have to
podcast?
end it, or we won't end it. So please take us away.
And the
Tougie.
episode of the podcast. I have to go.
I'm
Shit.
Say chowder.
I have to go. Shit.
Ask not what your toilet can do for you.
but what you can do for your toilets.
Oh, we're canceled, aren't we?
I hope so.
Like some of this has to go for on the what's the page
Cutting room floor.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Crash.
Oh boy.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
yeah.
Like,
We went off the deep end after the fucking Manscaped read. Holy shit.
so Damian Rhodes scored a goalie goal.
Wrong. He was credited. Doesn't count. Up the count. Wrong.
Oh man,
Didn't actually score. It was a mail-in goal. Doesn't count.
now. Oh man, now I'm just
I got
thinking
this
of,
now.
like,
I don't know what
presidents
this
as
is.
like
You
hockey
have fake
coaches.
goals.